Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review a film going in style. This is a remake of a 70s film, and it's directed by Zach Braff from Scrubs, and overall, I saw the trailers and I'm like, this could be fun. I'm not having high expectations from this, but going in, I was looking to enjoy myself for an hour and a half, and you know what? Completely succeeded on that because I had a fun time with this film. What Zach Braff did with this film, he brought a cool style and a cool style of storytelling to the film because it could have just been a straight through kind of general story, but how they structured, especially in the third act of telling some of the story and use of montages and everything of the sort to bring together this heist film was actually really well done, and I enjoyed that actually quite a bit. And this film was well paced. I didn't feel bored at all, and which is a good thing. It's only an hour and a half, but it was just a fun time, and the tone in particular, it was a very fun tone, but it balanced the more emotional parts of the film pretty well, and I did feel connected to these characters and what was going on with them, and that was a lot from Zach Braff bringing out some great performances from three great actors who I have seen them phone things in before, so they really came and brought it for this film, and I really enjoyed that, and Zach Braff did a good job of bringing this all together. Now, Rodney Charters did the cinematography for this film, which a lot of it's very point and shoot with the camera work. It's very, I know the term used a lot is workman. Anybody could have done some of the things that were done in this film in terms of just pointing the camera, taking the shots. It had that very generic sheen to it of, well, this is a studio film. There's not a whole lot of extra style to it. But what I did really like what they brought to this was using split screens and techniques like that to liven up some of the sequences in the film that could have easily just been cut, 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 but tried to shake things up and bring some new energy to the film, and it actually really fit in with the style that Zach Braff was trying to bring to this film. In terms of the writing, Theodore Melfi is the one who wrote this script, adapted this from the original script of the film from the 70s. They do change things up, apparently, from the original film. A lot of the motivations, these characters are a lot more motivated to do what they do besides the fact that they're just old and want to feel alive again. And in terms of the trio we have, the three central characters are a lot of fun, really enjoyable and likable characters, and I think they did a good job of bringing them to life. And in terms of especially the third act in this film, they use a really cool story structure of us figuring out what happened with this heist and how everything went down, and actually very effective use of voiceovers, which in movies can be overused and feel really unnecessary, but how they worked that latter part of the film in with those techniques was actually really cool. My biggest thing in terms of the writing is there's a lot of just flat characters and without much depth, and some of the characters that are supposed to be there to set up some emotional setup for some of the characters, basically it's just like, well, he has a granddaughter and he also has a granddaughter. They don't necessarily have the most depth to those characters. They're just kind of there. They're cute little girls, and it's just like, oh, I care about the fact that they have these grandkids that they need to take care of, and that's about it. But I'm going to talk about some of the standout supporting cast members of this film, though, in just a minute. But overall, a lot of the characters along the sidelines weren't really well developed, and towards the end, it's one of those films where, like, oh, here's the end. Oh wait, it's not ending. That could have ended. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Trying to tie up all the loose ends, I would say. And I don't know how that worked. I was sitting there like, okay, well, let's go, kind of thing. It didn't take a whole lot away from the movie for me, but it was something that really stuck out was towards the very end of the film. In terms of the themes in this film, they are very heavy-handed in terms of banks taking advantage of people, big corporations taking advantage of people, and them trying to get back at them and trying to live out that fantasy that a lot of people might have had after a lot of the big things in our economy over the past, say, 10 years, it was indeed very heavy handed. But they hit the emotional points really well. And if it was done with a little more finesse, it could have been more impactful, but it still did a really good job of hitting you where you need to feel supporting of these characters. Now, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Alan Arkin, they came to play. They're fantastic. I enjoyed their chemistry. They were all great, and this was their movie. But not to say that there weren't a few supporting cast members that brought their A game too. Anne Margaret was really funny and did a really good job. Christopher Lloyd has a pretty small role in this movie, and I'm sure he had a blast making this film. He's a man who's most likely developing dementia, but just the way that he interacts with all the situations is fantastic. And Kenan Thompson has a couple of scenes where he has some great one-liners and kind of steals the show a bit in those scenes. But there is one performance that really did not hit for me in this film, and it's a shame because this could have been a cool supporting character, but Matt Dillon as the FBI agent chasing after these bank robbers, they didn't really bring anything to it. It kind of felt really bland and disappointing. And I don't know if it could have been a different actor in that role, could have brought a little bit more to it, but he fell pretty flat and was pretty just like, hey, he's an FBI agent. That's what he is. He wants to figure things out. In terms of the music by Rob Simonson, it wasn't super unique. You probably have heard this jazzy kind of theme song a lot before, but it really, really brought the whole theme and tone of the film together because it was like that cool 70s sleuthy kind of heist film and had that real cool like jazz and horns and bongo drum kind of theme to it, and it really worked well. It wasn't super memorable and super unique, but it really worked well for what it was supposed to do. And that's the thing. This movie hits what it's supposed to do, and it was a fun time. It's not a great movie, but I'm going to give Going in Style a B.